We are Las Vegas' only teen talk show and Las Vegas' #1 teen talk show. And I'm so excited to have you guys listening today. Today, we are having the amazing Tanaath back on. And I'm so excited to have her. And this time we're not Skyping, so it'll be a lot easier to get a hold of her and a lot less hard for the bugs to get in. So, we have Tanaath on live right now. So, hi Tanaath, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Corey?
I'm great, and I'm so excited that you're back on the show.
I am too. Been looking forward to this.
Yeah, and your followers, I just got to say this really quick. Your followers are absolutely the sweetest people, and they've always been supporting me and stuff, and they're so excited to have you on the show, too. So your followers are amazing. They really are.
Well, thanks. Thanks to hear that, and I'm glad to hear that. And, you know, thanks to all these people out here who've given their feedback and helped out Corey. You know, it's really good to hear that people are living the love out there.
Yeah. And real quick, I just want to say we had the voice with us today, so that's who's talking too.
Hi, Tanaath. I spoke to you earlier on the phone, and it's like Corey said, very wonderful that you've joined us again, especially after last time. And yeah. we have a lot of questions that some of your followers have emailed to us, and I'm sure some will be calling in as well. And Corey and I have actually been doing so much research on you because of the wonderful things all your friends and stuff has sent us, and just on your website and stuff. So it's really amazing. We, as you know, Corey is all about spreading kindness and being positive, yeah. and like you say, we never really heard of the words, honestly, locus of control before, but that's we did it in a different way. Corey uses visualization boards, and we always and I'm sometimes I'm a stressed out crazy woman, and well, we try and we try and focus on the positive and what is in our control. Yeah. So when Corey was on your site and looking at everything, it was exactly what she preaches. And all of your friends and stuff, and you of course are just so kind and so informative, and we've learned so much. I mean, truly, just so much about everything, and it's just nice to find positive people, good people, really trying to make a difference. So we appreciate everything that you are doing and being here on the show.
Exactly.
Thank you, and my heartfelt thanks to you guys, and my heartfelt thanks to all the people out there who are, demonstrating the goodness of humanity.
Yeah.
Right, and unfortunately, there's not enough, but hopefully we can fix that. Hopefully we can just
definitely.
Get more people to realize that's the only way to go and be. So
And also, if anyone, people are listening, but if anyone has questions, they can call in. The number to call is, if you're out of the country, +1, and it's 702-483-4444. That's 702-483-4444. Or you can contact us through Facebook, which is facebook.com/Corey Taylor Talk. So it's really easy to get a hold of us, and we've been getting a lot of questions. So I'm super excited about this.
All right. Well, good about it. Let's get at her.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to take the first question. And, hold on, sorry. This is from Kane. And she said, could you please ask Tanaath what tools she can make using metals when she eats rocks? And what type of life does she do day to day on the Silver Legion world?
Well, when I eat rocks, it's in my dragon body. Obviously, that's not something I can do as a human down here on the planet. My teeth aren't strong enough, for one. For another, most rocks are not exactly edible to human beings. Yeah. But one of my species' abilities is to be able to shape rock and metal, and it's a combination of using our hands and our minds to do so. I specialize in making jewelry, but it's not just pretty things, it's functional. For instance, I made a ring for a friend of mine who was getting a lot of attention from the opposite sex, and it was starting to interfere with his ability to do his work. And basically what the ring does is, when he wants to be approachable, the ring doesn't stop people from approaching him. But when he wants to concentrate on his work, the ring sends a subtle suggestion that maybe now isn't a good time to interrupt him. So, you know, that's one example of the things that I make. And he reports that it works very, very well, and he's very satisfied with it. So that made me happy to hear that that was working for him. You know, I make something I call cylinder swords, which are hollow cylinders of metal. And when you put your energy into them, they make a blade of an element that is most suited to you. Mine tend to be lightning or electric, but I've seen all kinds. I've seen people with fire. I've seen people with magma. I've seen people with air blades. They're similar to lightsabers, but not quite. They're elemental in nature.
That's very cool. I never even heard of that. That's awesome.
You know, a while back, we actually purchased on the internet. This was a few years ago, and I'm trying to remember the name of them. They were like, I forget, but our friend is very, very, to me, very, very similar to you. Just a wonderful woman and into so much stuff. And she told us to get these things, and I can't remember what they are, but we have them in our house. They're kind of like metal shavings and little kind of like, I don't even know what they're like. When we first researched it, people thought like, oh, that's stuff to make a bomb, and it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like that. It was just like, you know, little metal shavings and like little jewels and stuff like that, and it all got encast in like a plastic.
In resin.
I'm sorry.
That's Organite.
Organite.
Yes,
that's exactly. Now, is that good?
Yeah, I don't make it myself, but yeah, people find it to be very, very effective.
That's exactly what it was, Organite. I couldn't remember the name, and that's what you're speaking of kind of sounds like to us. It sounds like it's similar. Like so it's stuff that basically is all natural. That's helping with different things in nature. Basically, is that the kind of stuff? Do you sell that, or do you just make it for friends and such?
No, I make it for friends and give them away. There's not commerce isn't quite the same. There's no money.
Right.
Yeah.
At least in our societies. There are some societies that still have currency and financial systems, but our society isn't one of them. So usually what will happen is, like, I will offer it as an exchange for goods in kind, or I'll make them just, you know, for fun and give them to my friends. The raw materials, usually I either manifest them straight out of thin air myself, or, you know, I use a replicator, or, you know, if there's a friendly planet around, I'll ask the planet if it wants to donate.
Wow.
And some of them do. Harmony likes to donate crystals, for instance, for our ships to use as drive.
That's amazing.
She makes them. She manufactures these huge house-sized crystals for us to use in Starship drives.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
that is
so
really
cool.
awesome.
And then the second part of the question is what type of life she does day to day on the Silver Legion's world.
It really depends. A lot of the time I'm teaching. I do teach a number of different. They're not quite like schoolroom classes that you see here, but I do teach a number of different courses to people. Sometimes I'm training. Sometimes I'm just playing around. Like, there's a lot of that. The Silver Legion likes to have fun. I also have diplomatic duties up there, so if there's any boring meetings, it's usually me who gets to be close to them.
And could you compare it to, like, Earth, or is it completely different?
It's, you know, there are aspects that I think it would be not unfamiliar to people, but it's not so onerous as Earth life tends to be. Work does not feel like work. You're basically doing whatever you want. Even your duties are things that you choose to do or that you're good at. So it's not like you have to go work for the man and then you get this precious few days of the weekend to yourself. Most of your time is your own.
Now I have a couple of questions. A girl, Casey, texted us in, and she said, and I'll ask you my question that goes with this. What do you look like in your human form, and what do you look like in your Silver Legion form? And this is very funny because when we got off the air with you last time, we were driving home, and Corey and I were talking, and I said, "Gosh, I wonder what she looks like." And Corey said, "I picture her to look like," and she said it, and I said, I had the exact same picture of you in my mind, and we just like totally looked at each other and thought, Oh my goodness! Like it was just down to the T.
Crazy.
It was crazy. And so when I got this question today, I said, "Oh my goodness!" I go, "I'm dying to see if she can give us a physical description because I'm dying to know if it's what me and Corey had in our mind, and then if we do, if it is the right picture, like it you know, I don't know. I mean, like I guess." How even like we found you? I mean, we found you because you were on Vince's show, and she started listening, and she was so enthusiastic and amazed over you. But same thing, like I think somehow the positive energy flows through the universe, and people like that find each other. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree, or is it just kind of a fluke?
I do think so. It's synchronicity, right? It's synchronicity, and it will lead you to people who you will teach and you will learn from. Yeah. And some of them will be in your life for a long time, others not so long. But usually you end up meeting the people you need to meet.
Right.
And oftentimes it's like one of those things where when you realize it, it's like, how the heck is that even possible, yet it happened?
Right.
Yeah. My boyfriend here is, he's a Silver Legionnaire too. And the way we met, neither of us ever really expected to meet another person like ourselves, and it was very unexpected.
That's awesome. That's
really
awesome.
It does happen. As for my physical appearance, well, I'm a little shy about it because I, like a lot of people on this planet, I'm suffering from the accumulated years of toxins and poisons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have a glandular problem on top of that. Like my thyroid does not work. In fact, I may have to have it removed soon.
Wow.
But I am a larger girl, and I'm Caucasian. I'm a Euro mutt. Quite mixed ancestry, mostly Northern European. But I have, well, it used to be blonde hair, now it's going white. Quite a bit white. And I have kind of lucky grayish eyes.
That's so cool.
That's really cool.
That's now. Are you and then in your Silver Legion life, you said something about a dragon. So is that what you would like if we saw you in your Silver Legion life? Would you look like a dragon? Like is that what or you can transform, or like how do you
yeah, I do shape shift because my dragon form is not always like I don't know a lot of infrastructure and stuff is designed around bipedal humanoids under a certain size. So it's fortunate that I have the ability to take whatever shape I want. And I usually adopt a humanoid shape when I'm talking to other humans. Because, number one, it puts them at ease, and number two, it kind of gets rid of it obviates the problem of where am I going to put my giant dragon butt.
Gotcha.
Because as a dragon, I'm more long than I am tall. I don't walk on 2 feet. I walk on 4. And I've got 3 pairs of wings and 2 tails. And
how interesting! That's so.
Biggest children that you've ever seen.
And like if you do meet other Sylvan Legion, like how do you recognize each other? Like I mean, is there like. How would, like, you said you're your boyfriend, like, how does it come about? Like, you just met each other?
Well, it usually comes out in discussion. Like, I don't run around talking about this. I learned when I was when I was much younger, when I was about Nikki's age, Corey's age, I learned that it wasn't a good idea to tell a lot of people
right
who and what I am, because most people aren't ready for it.
Absolutely.
At best, I might get somebody rolling their eyes and thinking I'm just a bit of an oddball. At worst, you might think I'm absolutely crazy and get combative with me, or if they take me seriously, the worst case scenario is they start thinking I'm devil worshipping or something like that, and no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something I learned to keep a lid on, and that's why I say this is often synchronistic, because I don't talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll come out with people I trust, and that's when the weird stuff starts happening, because all of a sudden they'll start saying things that are similar, and we'll realize, oh my God,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
We've got a commonality here that's bigger than either of us expected. And it's happened a few times in my life, And, you know, now that I've become more involved and more public, of course, some of the others are contacting me. And we don't know who each other is when we come down here, in part because there is information loss when you come as a human on this planet. There's no getting around that. There's going to be some information loss.
Right.
The other part is it's safety issues. There was somebody down here who knew who all the other ones are, and that person was harmed and forced to tell. Then it's a great big security concern.
Absolutely.
So most people don't know who the others are. We kind of we've been trusting that we synchronistically meet them, and that's so far it's held true.
That's awesome. I have actually
in my dragon form, I'm a very shiny white metal.
How cool!
Oh, that's so cool.
That's really neat. And do you have like different names, like weird names over there? That would be
or what language do you speak? I guess or is it a whole different language? Or
up there, I speak Druach, but for the most part, people are telepathic.
Gotcha.
When you think about the story of the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel includes that before it was constructed, everybody understood each other. But afterwards, all of a sudden, everybody was speaking different languages.
Yeah.
What actually happened was everybody was always speaking different languages, but because we had basically telepathic ability to understand other languages without actually having to understand, speak the language ourselves, everybody basically was able to communicate. What happened was that ability was taken away from us, and all of a sudden we had all these languages that no one could understand anymore. Up there, that ability is still present, so most people will be able to speak and understand each other, and if they don't share a language in common, they'll at least be able to understand each other telepathically, or at least get the gist of what each other is saying.
Gotcha.
People still do learn other languages, but it's not as difficult as it is here. Like down here, learning a language fluently is a matter of years of study and practice. But up there, you can learn a language fluently in 3 days.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And most people can learn, hundreds of languages if they really want to. There's no limit. There's no capacity barrier on how many you can learn. You can learn as many as you want.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That's awesome. I have an actual question myself. I was thinking of this because last time you said, you remember, your family members and stuff from your past life. Do you remember them? Do you miss your children and stuff, from your past life? Or do you kind of, you just learn to grow with it and you'll see them one day, or what?
Yeah, it's more the latter. You do learn to grow with it and know that you'll see them someday. And when you run into them again, it's like meeting an old friend. Well, it is meeting an old friend. It's kind of like one of my guardians is my brother, and one of my other guardians is my 7 times great grandson.
Okay, could you hold on a second?
Having them around is really neat.
That's awesome. Could you hold on a second? We have a caller.
I have another brother who's... Sorry?
We have a caller. Wait, hold on. We'll talk to the caller right now. Hi, caller. You're on live with Corey Taylor Talks. Who are we talking to?
Hi. Could be.
Hi.
Hello, this is Corey Taylor Talks.
He hung up.
Oh, hung up.
Well, they hung up. But okay, I'm sorry. You were saying your grandpa is something. I'm confused. I'm sorry.
No, my grandson. He's my 7 times great grandson.
Oh wow.
So, he's quite a bit descended from me, but we've been swapping guardianship over each other for a number of lifetimes, right?
Wow.
So it's sort of a favor we do for each other.
Wow.
And my other brother, who's my other guardian here, or my brother who's my guardian here, he never incarnates. He doesn't like to incarnate at all. And discovering him again in this life was really good, and he's been a constant companion of mine for over a decade.
Wow.
That's
awesome. Over a decade.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. At least you feel then you have other people here with you,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, and it's a bit like when you meet somebody who's a relative or a good friend, and it's a bit like Christmas morning.
Yeah,
I believe it.
It's just all that fun of remembering and rediscovering each other, and you know, all the. Do you remember when we did this and that and
Wow.
things like that? It's always very special. You know, death does happen up there, and we do get upset when friends die and when family members die, but we always know they will come back eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will see them again. So it does take the edge off of it a bit.
On your planet, do you have like sickness and cancer? I mean, all this kind of stuff, or how do people die up there, and what are the normal ages? And do you age like we do? Like, how does all that?
Well, for dragons, for my particular kind of dragon, our biology doesn't work the same as it does for organics. We're mineral based. We don't have cell senescence, which is the process by which your cells stop reproducing in an efficient manner and start to lose information over time.
Wow.
And end up dying. So we don't age, as in we don't weaken with our age. We just get bigger and stronger and keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
So we don't really. We're also not susceptible to disease or poison or anything like that, because everything we use we turn into energy, right? Anything we get into our bodies gets turned into energy. So that's one thing that we're not susceptible to. Other people are, but my particular species is we're pretty hardy.
That's awesome.
That is.
A gentleman by the name of Randy Harper just texted and said, Tanaath poops diamonds as a dragon. is he?
Yeah, it is something I can do.
That's awesome.
And another reason why we don't value material goods is because we can make it. We need it.
That's terrific. That's great. I love that. Okay, we have a gentleman named Joe texted, and he actually has two questions. How many Silver Legions would you actually? I guess just ETs. He didn't say. So he said, how many ETs are on Earth, and who are the gray people actually? And are more actually? I guess it's a 3-part question. And are more of the ETs on Earth good or bad? So 3 questions.
Okay.
How many? And
so there's 3 questions that I can't answer them all.
Okay.
In part because I don't have that information. I don't know the exact number of how many ETs are on this planet. There's an estimate that it's anywhere from, a couple thousand to up to about 10 million. I don't know how accurate that is. We don't have the information. And keep in mind, like, it's not, like, there's a number of different groups that are involved, and all of them have different goals out of this, and some of them have very different agendas. So they're not going to be sharing data with us about how many people they have down here, because we might seek to remove them because they might be here to cause problems for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that feeds into the last question. Can you repeat that, the third question?
Yeah. Who are the gray people?
No, that's the second one. So, what was the question after that?
Okay. He said, and wait, where did I write it? Hold on, I just lost it. I got it on my phone. I got pages of these. Where is it? Hold on.
How many of them are good and like bad?
Wait, hold on, let me find.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay,
so
yeah. How many on Earth? Who are the great people? And are there more good than bad? Are there more good people here than bad?
But we don't have.
Right.
We don't have an accurate count of who's here, and there's no who's who. There's no telephone directory that you can look up to find out who's alien and who isn't. Let alone which ones are, and I don't like to use the term good or bad, because some people may have very negative intentions for humanity, but may not be truly evil in themselves, just selfish and greedy. Whereas other people who may have positive intentions for humanity may also still be selfish and greedy. So, it all depends on which way the cookie crumbles. But, there are a number of groups that are all working here, and some of whom are opposed to each other. And again, they're not advertising their numbers because they don't want to tip it off to their enemies.
Right.
Or sometimes other.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how many good guys or bad guys there are. As for the Greys, I'm assuming they mean the Grey aliens. There's a number of different rumors going around as to how they came about. What I know from speaking with the Galactic Federation is that they were the original population basically bombed themselves bombed their planet to the point where it was not able to sustain life on the surface and had to go underground and suffered a great deal of genetic degradation, which brought them to the point where they are now. Now, there are a number of different groups and subspecies of Greys. Somewhere along the way, they either sold out or were enslaved by others, and there's a lot of Greys who are sort of like a subject race or even an enslaved race that have been modified even further for the purposes of whatever their masters is. And, you know, it's some of them are owned by reptilians and others are owned by other groups, and still others are renegade and doing it for their own purposes, so it's really hard to say. There's not one group that's involved there, so even generalizing the Greys is difficult. And there's several different subspecies, you know, that Grey form that when everybody thinks of the stereotypical alien with the huge teardrop-shaped head, tiny chin, and great big eyes. Some of them are Grey, some of them are light blue or brown, or some are even black. You know, they come in different colors. They come in different sizes. Some are like maybe up to your knees, while others tower over you. So it's quite the gamut, and it's, you know, without knowing the history of any particular group or individual, it's hard to say who's who or what's what. I usually take them by their actions. In a lot of cases, most Greys are conducting, at the least, it's selfish actions with absolutely no regard for the sanctity of whatever being they're utilizing. At the worst, it's downright malicious.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and like,
try to avoid the Greys.
Gotcha.
And how far away are your planets? And like, does like Earth, like does the government know about you guys, or are they kind of blind to it? Like, or do they really know about you?
Of course they know.
I think by now there are a lot of governments that know we exist. This is a very loaded subject, and it's a very large subject, and it's one that I urge people to do their own research on. And I suspect this is one that will get me disconnected if I talk too much about it. So, you know, start doing your research. Always keep an open mind, but at the same time keep a critical mind when you're going through this information.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of vested interest in keeping this information hidden.
Yeah.
And if it can't be kept hidden, trying to muddy the waters to the point where people just can't decide what's going on because there's too much conflicting information, and all of it seems at least potentially valid. So wade that minefield at your own discretion and with your own discernment. Yes, governments are aware we exist. I don't know whether they're necessarily aware that the Silver Legion exists per se, but they are aware that extraterrestrials exist. They've kept this information secret for their own purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. And just so you know, we're getting a lot of weird things from your side of the phone call, like there's weird noises again. But if you guys have any questions, the number to call is 702-483-4444. That's 702-483-4444. So, how far away are your actual planets? So, like, are they in this universe, or are they a whole different another universe, or?
Well, the Silver Legion has one planet. That planet is Harmony, and Harmony is in the Tau Ceti B system, I think. It's either Tau Ceti A or Tau Ceti B. Those systems are approximately 11 light years away from Earth.
Wow.
Which means if you were to travel the speed of light, it would take you 11 years to get there.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's amazing, actually.
That's awesome. That's so
Is that how long it took you to get here, then?
That's one of our closest neighbors, by the way.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Alpha Centauri is our closest neighbor, and Alpha Centauri is 4 light years away.
Wow.
So is that do you travel, I mean, are you traveling at that speed too, or would it take you like 11 years to get here then, basically, or do you guys get here quicker?
Oh, no. There are ways to circumvent the speed of light.
Gotcha.
Some of them involve basically making wormholes or, you know, cheaty shortcuts through space and time, basically trying to tell a location that it is the same as another location and then just taking one step and you're there. Sort of
Interesting.
thing.
Wow. That's amazing.
But there are many, many, many ways in which to get by that pesky little light speed barrier. And some of them are known to people on this planet, but they're not being shared.
Oh,
I bet.
And, okay, let's see here. A guy named, it looks like Maladon, he asked, is Area 50, Maladon, I guess, is Area 51, and I'm assuming you know what that is, it's in Las Vegas, or
yeah.
Working with alien species right now, or have they ever?
Right now, I can't speak about it. I don't know what the current situation is with that location that is commonly referred to as Area 51. But that was traditionally where they took any captured tech or beings.
Okay. We got a caller. Hold on one second. We're going to get the caller online.
Hi, caller. You are on live with Corey Taylor Talks. Who are you talking to?
Hi, it's Tom. I'm trying to ask a question to Tanaath.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Tom. She's on the line. She's listening.
Yeah, she's on the line.
Oh, she's listening right now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
There must be a little bit of delay. But my question is the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds the same as the Galactic Federation of Planets?
I only know the Galactic Federation of Planets as either the Federation, the Galactic Federation, or the Galactic Federation of Planets. I haven't heard them called free worlds. Remember that federations are a fairly common way of organizing politically. So there are multiple galaxies that have federations, and there's multiple federations in this galaxy.
Okay, and I have one more question, if that would be all right.
Of course, go right ahead.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, how do you see the Archons and the Vatican playing into our situation and the control over the planet right now?
Well, that would depend on what you mean by Archons. If you mean the little non-physical things that try to control people,
like non-physical.
They're losing hold, but they're not going down easily or quickly. If you mean the hybrids and the human beings who have been involved in the, I guess you could say, the secret
are they still in power? I know that they're in the Vatican, and that's where a lot of the control and the money flow goes, but
there is a lot of change right now. We're really in a deep fog of war situation where it's hard to say who's who and what's what. My people assure me that things are proceeding. They can't give a timeline, though.
If you can hold on 1 second, we have another caller. Just don't go away, Tom. We want to keep you online, too. We're going to take the other caller, too. Okay, right. Caller, you're alive with Corey Taylor and Tanaath, and Tom's on the line.
Hi. Who am I talking to?
Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes,
caller, are you listening right now? We know we have Tom on the line and Tanaath, and Corey's live in studio.
Yeah.
And who's the third caller up there? Okay, well, we can... Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I guess he's on the line, or she's on the line, they're listening, but they're not going to talk. So, okay, we're going to disconnect that caller. Tom, so where are you calling in from, and how did you find out about Tanaath being on the air tonight?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've researched this stuff for like a while. I'm from New Jersey. And,
awesome.
So I'm like right in like the heart of like where a lot of the stuff like could go down. But I don't know. I have like a lot of questions, but I don't want to like take up like all Tanaath's time if there's like other questions, other people calling in about questions.
No, you can ask a couple more because that's what it's about. We have questions here on we're taking from the internet too, but go right ahead. Ask at least one more question, and then I'll take one from the internet. And by all means, please do.
All right, I have a really big question, and I don't know how she's gonna like answer it, but have you heard of basically a galactic organization that is basically synthetic, and it's not aligned with the organic universe? And how do they play a role in controlling humanity, and how are they an influence? Because I know that there's different types of beings with different beliefs. Some like believe that there's only like one God and everyone's a part of that one God, and then there's other people that think that we're all infinite. So I was just wondering what's your stance on like the synthetic universe and the God entity that is in control of it.
I do know that there was an attempt. All universes are holographic in nature. Now, I'm going to qualify that by saying that does not mean that they are fake. Holographs is the nature of reality.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So you're saying they're made by technology?
No. Natural holographs.
Okay.
Or in this case,
because I thought I always associated holograms with, like, technology and stuff.
Yeah, we associate holographs with technology, but it's not necessary to have technology. You can have natural holographs, and universes are generally examples of natural holographs. But yes, there does seem to be a situation where it looks like somebody is attempting to produce an artificial competing holograph and attempting to lure people into that.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And taking control of many of the religions on the planet, too.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information about that. I don't know if that's necessarily something that that my people are dealing with. You know, there's a lot of different groups and teams that are involved. That might be somebody else's job. But yeah, I do know about that theory, and I do know that that was attempted. From what I understand, is that it's not going to be an issue.
Okay, so you're saying your people are telling you that these people aren't, like, in as much control as they want everyone to believe, essentially.
Yeah, part of
it seems like they're... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, part of the game is convincing people that you've already won, or that, you know, that is a thing, so that people start acting like it, and they're tricked into going into it on their own.
Okay, so you're saying, because, you know, I'm kind of getting the impression that some guys may show up, like, with spaceships and try to lure people on ships, and they would basically attempt to, like, take you to the synthetic universe and basically bring you into an ascension chamber and rewire your DNA so you're, like, a part of, like, their structure and a part of, like, that God entity.
I think those might be two different groups. You don't need to be brought anywhere to go into the synthetic universe. It's a matter of basically turning towards the wrong reality, which you don't need to have technology to do. The Ascension Chamber thing, basically what that is the Ascension Chamber is a ploy by beings that want to take over you and complete the enslavement process. These are miniaturized, personalized soul prisons, essentially. You do not need technology in any circumstance to ascend. And once
this is what I'm familiar with. And this is why I'm just a little bit concerned about, you know, people coming in and trying to harvest humanity. And that's basically one of the biggest questions that I have for you.
And that's one of the reasons why we stopped backing anything that involved removing people without their full knowledge and consent from the planet, or with only minimal information about what's going on. We don't think that it's a good idea for large groups of people to be removed from the surface, unless there's been pre-existing relationships that allow for this, until after humanity is free and fully able to make, and people are fully able to make those choices and decisions in knowledge without being tricked. We no longer support anything that could be even remotely raising the risk to that.
Okay. And if you don't mind, I have one more question, and this one's a little bit more personal, but I think you'll like it. I think it's a good question.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Over the past, like, few months, I've actually been gathering all this, like, what you could call Earth treasures, like different things that I think are really unique about this planet. I've also written a book, and I have a plan to, when I make first contact, to give them basically a care package as a gift for them traveling all this distance to, like, come meet me. So this is, like, part of my plan to, you know, give them the care package. It will also have, like, a book full of my third density experiences that I've, like, written down for the past, like, year or so. And I just wanted to know, like, how I can arrange to, like, you know, give them the care package.
Oh, I have no idea how you could arrange to give them. I'm sure the opportunity will arise. When it's, you know, look out for the synchronistic events, because that's what's really going to tell you. But I'd just like to say that sounds like a really thoughtful thing, something done with great heart, great mindfulness, and great caring. and that alone will be highly appreciated.
It really does.
And,
That's
I'm very excited for it. It's just I'm waiting for like the perfect moment, and I'm waiting for everything to be perfectly in place. But I just want to like make sure I'm able to like give it to them. So I put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah. Well, when the opportunity presents itself, you'll know it.
Okay.
That's how synchronicity tends to work.
Very cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you so much for calling in,
Thank
Tom.
you. I really appreciate you answering my questions.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She's amazing.
She's just great. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Thank you.
All
have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Okay, Tanaath, I have Randy wrote in, the sun are stargates. And do you know what he wants to talk about regarding that?
Well, yes, the sun is a stargate. All stars are stargates. That's just part of what they are. Basically what that is like when you have the right frequencies of energy, you can use stars to travel from one solar system to another. You have to have, for this you need to either be a species that isn't going to burn to a horrible crisp, or you need to have technology that is resistant to the actual effects of flying into a sun and into a stargate. So, heavy shields at the very least. But you also have to have a drive that's capable of, telling a star via energy where it is you want to go.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
And suns and stars, they're also alive. And, some of them will, you can convince them, hey, don't let these guys in because they're not nice. And our sun is actually helping protect this system from invaders. If you're coming in to this system, you had better be on his good list.
Gotcha.
You're going to pretty
That's awesome. That's really cool. I mean, that's very interesting.
That's very cool.
Well, we did get a.
Yeah, he does. He gives a lot of life, and he does look out for us. He's a pretty friendly guy, this sun.
That's very
cool.
cool.
Most suns are male. Most planets are female, and most suns are male. Although you get some systems where it's reversed, but this seems to be the trend.
Wow. Interesting.
Are moons anything, or no, not really?
Our moon is artificial. Our moon was made by somebody else, and while it's really pretty and has some fun effects on the tides, which always helps with the fishing, it's not exactly the greatest thing to have around. But some moons that are natural work in harmony with their planets. Sometimes they might be barren in one dimension, but life-bearing in another.
Interesting.
Same with planets. A lot of planets that appear to be unable to support life in our dimension are teeming with it in others.
Interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. First of all, I really want to give out a big shout out to Randy Harper, and he's been just so informative to us. He sends us a lot of stuff and interesting videos and stuff. And I know you're listening out there, Randy, because you're sending in some stuff. But Corey and I really appreciate it.
I really do appreciate it.
And we've gotten so many messages and stuff, like I said, from around the world, and you're amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us as well. And then we had a gentleman write in, Cosmic Wonder is his name, and he basically said, I happen to resonate with Cobra and the Resistance. And he said, what was the other thing he said? Okay, I found you. Okay. I resonate with Cobra and the Resistance. And then he said, I belong to Cobra Etheric Liberation. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what he was saying to us to talk to you about. And he didn't really ask a question other than that. Is there anything?
Well, I can't be the arbiter of other people's realities. I can't tell people what they should or shouldn't resonate with. That's up to them. Mm-hmm. If he resonates with that, then that may be where he can do the best good. I don't personally resonate with the Cobra material at all. The Silver Legion really isn't a fan of him. But you know what? There's another thing I want to say to people about stuff like that. You don't have to stay a member of any group after it ceases resonating with you, or after it served whatever synchronistic purpose that it had. don't feel the need to be beholden to anyone or any group just because they were the first one or you resonated with them in the beginning. This includes me, this includes Pollock, this includes anyone. Feel free to pick and choose, because no one is a perfect source of information. Not me, not anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
I do my honest best, but I'm going to resonate mostly with people who are warriors of the same sort of resonance as I am.
Yeah.
And these are people who can use that information and use this mindset to achieve their greatest good.
Right.
But other people may be called to other things, and those people will resonate with other materials. That doesn't mean that any one of us is right or wrong.
Yeah.
It just means that our greatest good might lie in a different area. We need all kinds of people doing all kinds of work in order to succeed at this.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
If you could just right now change the world and do anything, like one thing to make it, different, what would you do, Tanaath? Like if you had the power to just right now change something, on the what would you do?
That's a hard one.
I'm sure there's a lot.
Things, big and small, that need to be changed in order to bring this around. I think I'd get rid of judgmentalism.
Yeah.
Because I think if we lived our lives and approached each other in this world from a position of inquisitiveness and perception as opposed to judgment, I think it would be a lot easier for us all to get along.
Yeah.
I think that'd probably be the biggest thing. But, I mean, there is so many little things and big things that have to be changed in order for success to happen.
Absolutely. Okay, we have another caller on the line. I'm coming on. Hold on 1 second, Tanaath. Okay.
Hi, caller. You're on live with Corey Taylor Talks. Who am I talking to?
It's Elizabeth Diamond.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
We got Tanaath on the line. Would you
Yeah.
like to ask Tanaath a question?
Oh, I just wanted to let Tanaath know, Elizabeth Diamond, Tanaath, and I wanted to let you know that I want to just encourage you and thank you for all of the information you've given us through all of your radio shows and with Drake and other people, Corey, and the others. And I just want to thank you for all that. And I resonate with the other young man that was collecting things from the earth and everything. And I just want to ask you, Tanaath, if you will, when you're there in your harmony, I think, just to let everybody know, the brothers and sisters, that I'll be calling out to them because, I think it's time. I feel it in my heart, and Corey I know does, and the young man and others. We're ready to learn more from our brothers and sisters galactic-wise. So the ones that have media and radio and everything, Corey, just keep calling out to them. They'll hear you. And just if you could give us a shout out to them, Tanaath, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in.
They always like to hear that that people are interested in them.
Absolutely.
And that people are aware of them, because it's kind of like, oh wow, there's people who know who we are. It's kind of mind-blowing for some of them.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're so used to being unseen and unheard by Terrans that, when the attention is there, some of them like to show off.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have...
And then when you ask the Silver Legion, ask all the Silver Legion to pass it on to everybody else, okay? Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
thank you so
much for calling in.
We have about 5 minutes left, and once again, I really want to say we don't want to hang up now. We have not even had a break this show, and we did not want to take one, and our sponsors are very cool, and they understand, because we are so happy that Tanaath is with us. So we just want to, Tanaath, I'd like you to say whatever you'd like to say to all your listeners out there and stuff. And
if you have any words for them.
Any words or anything you want to say. And we also want to say that I hope you know at any time, I know you said for a while you don't want to do any more radio interviews and stuff, but if you do, we would welcome you back.
We would be honored.
Anytime, and be honored. And because we need more people, like, first of all, we need people that are out there educating people. You know,
Exactly.
it's so funny. I talk to people at my job, and the same with you. Sometimes they look at me like you've lost your mind, you know, and I'm like, you know, you believe what you want, and I don't care what people think. I've always been like that. But we are absolutely honored to have you on, and anytime, and we'd love for you to finish out the show with whatever you'd like to say to people, or any kind of messages, or, you know, we know, and then also, of course, your website and everything that they can follow you on, and your blogs and whatnot.
Yeah, well, the website's www.silverlegion.org, and you're not going to see a lot of updates there for the next little while. I am retiring from radio for the time being. What that means is that until I have more information of the really, really major and interesting kind of report, I'm probably going to stop doing the shows, because I think I've said most of what needs to be said in the general sense. So now I'm going to to keep on doing my work and focus on, you know, until the time when I actually have something really exciting to report. And I don't know when that will be, so I really couldn't say.
Oh, yeah, well, whatever you do find it, let us know.
I'll definitely come and talk with you then, Corey and Nikki.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I do want to emphasize to people, really, you can be your biggest ally or your own worst enemy. Try to focus on being productive instead of dwelling on the non-productive and the negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever this means to you, whatever productivity is to you, try to, instead of focusing on all the things that are bad and wrong and awful, because there are a lot of them, try to focus on what you can do with what you have and how you can increase your effectiveness and, you know, your sphere of influence in order to do more. And try to focus on doing as much good as you can, whatever that particular thing is.
Absolutely.
Everybody has different skills and talents. Everybody has different needs.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can do instead of dwelling on what other people are or are not doing.
Absolutely.
And I also want to relate back to your website, too, with the locus of control. It's so important that if our listeners do nothing but go to your website and look at what you said about the locus control. It is so important, because it is so true. We shouldn't focus on stuff we have no control over. We should focus on the immediate stuff, and then focus on the stuff that's going to take us a little while longer. And like you said, take it from one box into the other.
Expanding your locus of control.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to be aware of the things that are outside of your control and make plans for what you can control, but it's like within that. But don't spend all of your energy on things that you can't change.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that ends up is making you fearful and frustrated.
Absolutely.
You know, put your energy into things that will swing the pendulum or rock the boat, or actually create the movement and the momentum to get you where you need to be.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, we have 1 minute left, so we really want to thank you once again for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on our show. And so that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Thank you so much to our listeners. Thank you so much, Tanaath, for being on the show. I'm so honored to have you as a guest. Remember, never give up, always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.